They are known as the ghosts of the forest. That is because they are so very, very rarely seen. Not only are they nocturnal animals, so active at night, but they're also very shy and extremely reclusive animals too, so you are pretty lucky to see them. On the right hand side, that reddish brown one with really fun white stripy legs is an okapi. Many people believe that the okapis are related to zebras because of their fun and stripy legs, but okapis are actually the only known relatives of the giraffe. Okapis have these really cool prehensile tongues that allow them to lick their own eyes and ears, much like giraffes can. Prehensile means they can move it in any direction that they like. They can even use it to grab onto their food as well. These grayish animals, also on the right, are called greater kudus. Those greater kudus are females. You can tell because they do not have any horns at all. Male kudu horns can actually be about 6 feet long. They're the second tallest antelope species in the world, standing about 55 inches tall. They tend to be what's called crepuscular animals, which means active mostly at dawn and dusk. If they get a little hungry, they might wander around and grab some food, but for the most part, it's dawn and dusk. The biggest threat to the animals here in the forest is, of course, deforestation. Not just due to paper products or lumber, but also due to the mining of a metal known as coltan. Coltan is actually found in a lot of our favorite electronic devices. Most commonly, it's found in cell phones. By simply taking a few extra minutes to recycle those devices, we can actually make a really, really big impact on the animal's habitat. Now we are going to head on down towards the river I know of. It is called the Safi River, and the last time I came down here, I had pretty good luck finding a lot of animals, and it looks like we're going to have great luck now because there's a couple of Nile hippopotamus here on the right, along with some pink-backed pelicans. Hippos are some of the largest and most dangerous animals in all of Africa. Not because of what they eat. They're actually vegetarians. They're mostly dangerous because of how big they are. They can weigh around 5,500 pounds. Their bite is actually so strong it can crush a crocodile in half. They can also crush an entire watermelon in their jaws as well. On the island is a pod of the pink-backed pelicans. Pink-backed pelicans get their name from the dusty rose color on their back. A lot of people think it's only there during mating season, but it is actually there all the time. It just becomes a more pronounced and obvious color during that mating season. And they're what's called colonial nesters, another couple of hippos here, meaning that they like to nest as a group. The idea is the more birds they've got to look out for a nest, the safer it is. Also here on the left is a Basque of the Nile crocodiles. Now they are alive, they just do this for most of the day. It's because they are cold-blooded, and they actually need to save the vast majority of their energy for when they eat, which is about once a week to about once a month or so, depending on how much they eat at once. They can eat about half of their body weight in one sitting. They can actually weigh over 500 pounds. They've also got a bone-crushing bite force of around 2,000 pounds. If they lay perfectly still underneath the water, they can actually hold their breath for about 2 hours or so. Now, as cool as they are, I do think I'm going to take us off here into a different ecosystem, and that's because a different ecosystem does mean different animals. We're actually going to be heading off into the savanna and the Serengeti grasslands. The landscape here does allow us to see animals all the way across to the other side. However, to make things a lot easier for everybody, myself as well as you, we're just going to talk about the animals as we pass them. So we'll start with the wildebeests down here on the right, and then we'll kind of work our way around from there. The white-bearded wildebeests are also called gnus after the grunting sound that they make. They actually have one of the largest migrations in all of Africa. About 1.5 million of them migrate anywhere between about 500 and about 1,000 miles every single year. They get their name wildebeest from the Afrikaans word wildebeest, which does mean wild beast. It's after their tendency to cause stampedes. When one of them runs, all of them will run as well, even if they're not really super duper sure why they're running. They'll honestly just see their friends doing it and they'll want to join in. They're not the only animals who participate in stampedes, but they're usually the #1 cause of most of those stampedes. Most prey type animals will be part of those stampedes because they see everybody running and they're like, oh, guess we gotta run. There must be a predator around. So that's usually when they'll take off running. Speaking of predators, here on the left is actually a pack of African wild dogs. They are just to the right-hand side of the den. They're kind of a tan and black and white color, vaguely sort of reminiscent of a German Shepherd in like a sort of general way. African wild dogs are also called painted dogs because of their spots. It literally looks like you gave a small child some finger paint and construction paper and just said, have fun. And it's all their patterns are unique. It's actually how they're able to identify each other while they're off hunting. They're actually some of the most successful and dangerous predators in all of Africa. They're actually more successful at hunting than lions, cheetahs, and hyenas all combined together. It's because they not only hunt as a group, but because they chase their prey down so their prey just falls right over from exhaustion. They're around 90% successful. This darker brown antelope here on the left is a sable antelope. You're lucky to see them all the way over here. They usually like to hang out kind of by the wild dogs. They're an extremely territorial antelope and an extremely aggressive one as well. But sable antelopes are also the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. They are a fiercely protective animal as well, which is our goal here on the reserve. We're working very, very hard to protect the animals, mostly from poachers, but also from habitat loss as well, since those are the two biggest threats facing the animals today. Sometimes it's one or the other, but unfortunately, or commonly, it's both habitat loss and poaching. It looks like we're going to have a decent view of some of those zebras coming up on the right as well. Now this particular zebra species are called the Hartmann's mountain zebras. They're just better known as mountain zebras. You can tell because when we get a little closer, if you look at their back legs, they have really, really wide, thick stripes. The rest of their body, though, has thinner stripes. They actually look like the combination between a Grevy zebra and a Grant's zebra. Grant's zebras are what we typically think of when we think of the word zebra. They have really wide stripes all the way around their bodies. Grevy zebras, on the other hand, have thinner stripes all across their bodies. So it looks like you have the legs of a Grant zebra and the body of a Grevy zebra, and you smoosh them together. Mountain zebras are also the only zebra species that has a dewlap, which is this little extra flippy flap of skin on their neck. They're also black with white stripes. You can tell because of the color of their nose. The smaller tan and white ones on the right are called springboks. They're about 3 feet tall and they weigh about 100 pounds or so. They actually weigh as much as cheetahs do. Now, as adorable as the giraffe on the left is, I figure there's some cute baby giraffes on the right, and I figured we'd rather stop for those ones. So they're little. You can't tell me that's not the cutest little thing that you have ever seen in your whole entire life. Look how little. Aren't they so cute and teeny tiny? Like, don't you just want to give them like the biggest hug in the whole entire world? I don't know about you, but like that is so stinking adorable, and I love baby giraffes. I just love giraffes in general. They're so adorable. Now those little thingies on top of their head, they actually have a name. They're called ossicones. All giraffes have them, but only like male okapis, who are their cousins, have them. But they're actually made of bone and they're covered in hair to make birth a lot easier for the mothers. Those ossicones on babies are actually made of soft cartilage, like our own ears and nose, and they're stuck completely flat against their heads. As they age, those ossicones will develop into bone and actually become part of their skull. Females, like the one on the left, like to use them in self-defense. Males actually use them in a behavior that's known as necking. Look at that one, it's like going up to the bird like, what are you? The baby's like, what are you? You're very cute, I want to play. Look at us chasing a bird. Oh, we got scared. Mom, it scared me. There's a bird. I mean, I don't blame them. They're like, what are you? I just think it's funny when they chase the other animals around. Sometimes the baby giraffes will chase the springboks and they're like, what are you? What are you? Come play with me. And the springboks are like, ah, go away. You're bigger than me. I'm scared. So the springboks, they usually just start running away. The baby giraffe's like, wait, because I can play. So they're so little. They run super, super, super adorably as well. It kind of looks like somebody put a little bit too much sugar in their breakfast cereal in the morning because they run around all crazy like they got little zoomies. It's adorable. Another one of my favorite animals is here on the left, which we all know what this one is. It's an elephant. A couple of them actually. So it looks like this is actually a herd of males. You can tell because the larger one back there, he's really, 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 really big. Fully grown males are about 12 to 14,000 pounds, and they're around 14 feet tall. Females are about 6 to 8,000 pounds, but they're about 8 to 10 feet tall. We're actually gonna go on this side so you guys can see the flamingos and the elephants at the same time. So this is actually a super rare thing to see an adult male with younger males because it doesn't happen often. Only occasionally. So what those two younger males are doing is they're learning how to be a dude. They spend the first 15 years of their lives exclusively around females. So he probably got annoyed. The little one probably came up and like balked him and was like, hey, and he got annoyed. He could fight both of them at the same time with no problems whatsoever. So they just are like, he's basically teaching them like, hey, this is how we just live the bachelor life. Males actually do tend to live alone. Elephants are a matriarchal species, so they follow females. So usually he just kind of like chills by himself, and sometimes all it can take is for that big male to take one single step in the direction that the boys are, and they'll stop their behavior. It's like a dad with his two kids. Like all my dad had to do was look at us, and me and my brother were like, sorry, we don't know what we did, but we're good, we're gonna stop, we're just gonna wait, and great, thank you. Kind of like that, but for them. Those flamingos are actually the greater flamingos. They're the largest and the lightest shade. They can stand about 5 feet tall and weigh around 9 pounds. On the right are scimitar horned oryx and white rhinos. We'll probably see the white rhinos later, but scimitar horned oryx actually get their name from the scimitar sword shape of their horns. They can go for periods of up to about 9 months without a single drop of water. It's because their body temperature is about 115 degrees Fahrenheit and they don't sweat. There's a cheetah on your left. Wow. There's at least 2 cheetahs in every single coalition. So we'll see. It's kind of hiding up in the shade. Cheetahs have anxiety, so these are 2 separate coalitions. So this first coalition has one, the second coalition has another couple. So 2 separate coalitions. They don't usually mingle together too much. So there's one coalition does have 3. It's this one, the other one has 2. The one coalition, one of the cheetahs is a bit more shy than the other one. So this one is the 3 coalition. Sometimes they flip-flop. But cheetahs are really tiny. They only weigh about 100 pounds. So they're terrified of anything and everything bigger than they are. Which, to be honest, is just about everyone except a springbok. They're the fastest land mammals in the world, running at speeds of up to about 65 miles an hour, which they can reach in about 3 seconds. That's the equivalent of most modern sports cars. They can only run that fast though for about 30 to 45 seconds. Otherwise their really teeny tiny bodies overheat, sometimes reaching temperatures of about 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Cheetahs also cannot roar like other larger cats, but they do have the ability to purr and meow as well, which is something that a lot of bigger cats cannot do. We should be able to see the white rhinos again here on the right, along with the oryx and the ostrich. Ostrich are the largest bird in the world. They weigh about 150 pounds. There's going to be lions on your left. But ostrich actually cannot fly. They can, however, run at speeds of up to about 45 miles an hour. When they flap their wings and they run, they're not trying to fly. They're trying to keep their balance, change direction. The lions are at the base of that wiggly tree. At least one of the females and one of the male, the only male. Right there at the bottom of the tree that's got a wiggle in it. There's actually 2 females in this pride and 1 male because this is the smallest pride that exists. The females are the ones who hunt. Males just stay behind, watch over the pride, territory, and any cubs. There's 1 dominant male in every single pride, which is the entire premise of the Lion King movie. Scar is mad because Mufasa is the dominant male. But Scar also wasn't very nice and had a small mane. The males with the biggest manes are seen as more dominant because their manes protect their neck. So the males can protect themselves better, so the females say, hey, you can protect yourself better, so you can protect us and the kids better too. On the left here is a sounder of warthogs. They're the largest of all of the burrowing animals. When they go into their burrow, they'll actually back in so that their tusks are sticking out. That way they can be prepared in case any predators try and like sneak up and attack them. They actually use their curvy upper tusks for digging, and their sharp and pointy lower tusks they usually use in self-defense. The ostrich by the green car on the right, their eggs are here on the ground. Then you have rhinos, oryx, and actually a bontebok. The bontebok is the smaller brown antelope with horns. They are cousins of the wildebeests, but unlike their extremely athletic cousins, that's about all that they do. Their name also very loosely translates to patchwork antelope because they got a lot of different colors on their bodies. Each of those ostrich eggs we saw weighs about 3 pounds or so. They're actually, which is about as much as a dozen chicken eggs. And they're actually so strong that an adult human can stand on top of them without them even cracking. It takes about 45 days for each egg to hatch. A group of rhinos like that one though is called a crash. It's perfect for them because rhinos all have really bad eyesight. Rhinos usually have to be within about 10 or so feet of something to see what it is. They navigate better through their sense of smell and their sense of hearing than they do through their sense of sight. That's why they can move each of their ears kind of independently of one another. Despite their eyesight, they can actually run at about 35 miles an hour. They can even gallop as well, which is where all 4 of their feet are off the ground at the same time. White is not a reference to their color in any way at all. They're actually like a charcoal gray. White is a mistranslation of the Afrikaans word weit. It means wide. It's in reference to their mouth. They have extremely wide and extremely flat mouths because they're grazers, meaning that they eat the grass on the ground. It's kind of like giant lawnmowers. They're also the most social and friendly of all the rhino species. They do enjoy hanging out together quite a bit. They communicate with each other through a lot of like snorting, grunting, and kind of huffing sounds as well. You just don't hear those noises as commonly with the other rhino species, but they all make the same type of sounds. One of the easiest ways we can help to protect all the animals of the world, endangered animals or not, is honestly just to learn more about them. The more we know about the animals, the more that we will know what's impacting them and any ways that we might be able to help. Plus, the more we know about something, the more likely we are to care about it. And we humans have a tendency to really like to protect the things that we care the most about. So I challenge each of you today to go home and not only learn something new about the animals, but take what you've learned and share your knowledge with someone else. You never know, it might end up inspiring someone to take action.